Say yes to new beginnings.
Yes.
Say yes to new standards of excellence.
Yes.
Say yes to engaging reportage with a difference.
Yes.
Introducing Yes International Magazine. The time to say yes to your dreams and aspirations is here.
All right. Now, how does it feel to share the same name with the great Zik of Africa?
Well, as you know, it's a name with history. My dad was in politics. He was back home. That's why I was born in the village. Okay?
Okay.
He was in detention when he was framed up politically and was detained. Of course, he later won the case in court. But he was detained over nonsense. And so he was in detention when I was born. So it was the NCNC in those crazy days of politics and the Nnamdi Azikiwe Code that actually took part of the responsibility for my birth. So it had to remain memorable. My name had to be a testament to what my father went through and the triumph of light over darkness. So he named me Nnamdi Azikiwe. So that's my full name. So my full name is Nnamdi Azikiwe Onyekuwa Zulu Okafor. So from Zik, I took Zik, Onyekuwa Zulu, I took Zulu. So you have Zik, Zulu,
Okafor. Interesting. Now I need you to tell us briefly about your childhood. I mean, what's the fondest memory of your childhood that you like to share with us?
There are a few things I like to say. That I was born in the village. At the time there were no light and all that. And at the time that children were not pampered. And so some of my greatest memories that I use today as a writer in both my outside Nigeria and then going back to the village. Things I remembered was being woken up about 5 a.m. in the morning to go to the stream. And we walk the narrow path listening to the chirping of the birds and the owl as we go to the stream. And I come to the stream, I see the spring, waters coming out of a stone and the white water flowing. They meant so much to me that when I went outside Nigeria and came back, each time I travel and my experiences, they became for me a combination that formed my stories. And that's why when you see my movies, you see that the movies I wrote were always about experiences in the village, experiences beyond the shores of Nigeria, because they combine in molding who I am today.
Interesting.
So the village was robust. Schools in the village, I met the hard discipline in the school, and because my brain was not totally very correct at that time as a child, I was crazy. I met all the disciplinary actions you could face in school. And at some point, the teacher was telling my dad, please come and take this boy and teach him at home. Let him just stay at home and be taught. The only thing why they let me was they thought I was very brilliant, that I had to skip a class. And that's why when I finished my primary school, I was just a child, even in my secondary school. And that's why I ended up attending about 3 seconds, moved from one school to the other, trying to find myself and meaning to life.
Okay. Let's talk about the 3 secondary schools you attended and your fond memories of those schools.
I think the one I have the greatest memories were the St. Michael's, which was in Washiku then. I was in the village. And here was I in this school. I remember getting to the school the first day. My dad took me. When I got to the gate, they told me, my dad can go back from here. Now, my dad is a very strong person, a very serious man. And I thought he would tell the cranky looking security people at the gate to get out of the way to take me to my hostel, make sure everything was fine. The old man just told me, well, your life begins from this place. And he turned back. And the car left. And then the security guy just raised my suitcase and placed it on my head. And I removed my head and the thing fell on the floor. He told me, this boy, you need discipline in this school. But that was the beginning. When I got to the hotel that day, it was afternoon. Everywhere was deserted. I moved on that where they placed my name. I got there. Within a space of 3 minutes, 2 hefty looking guys just came to me. They asked me, do you have Bombita there? The other one said, do you have sugar? They were not even polite. I thought that these guys were crazy. So I said, yes, I have Bombita. I can give you some. Yes, I can give you some. He said, where's milk? So I asked him, are you making a demand or you are appealing? They said, this one doesn't do anything. And they started hitting me right there inside our place. The next day in school, I go to the class. It was just about break. They came in and said that you were making noise. All of you close your eyes, and open your mouth. I said, hey, what kind of thing is it? So I said, excuse me, can you tell me exactly what I did? They said, one Iguzo. That's meaning the child, this boy from Iguzo. I didn't spend more than 5 days in the hostel. I had to leave because it was crazy. Now, so they took me. They had to drive me to Hussey College, Warri. They said my dad. They said it was a very good school that I was good. I went with my uncle called Benson. When I got there and the people I saw there, I told him I wasn't going to be in the school. That I wasn't going to go there. Let them go to us. They took me to St. Patrick's College. I ended up in my hometown, a place called St. Augustine's College. There in Iguzo. In Iguzo. It was a combination of hell and heaven. But I was happy that I had to go from my house. I had to go from my house. So whatever happened, my house was very close to me, and I could go back to report my experience. So it was
interesting.
It was a crazy period in my life, actually.
Interesting. Now, I need you to share the fondest memory, that you have, concerning or about your university. That's talking about the great University of Ibadan.
These are a long time. Ibadan holds so much memories. But you see, what I just remember, not just my academic, but the team of boys that I used to work, and some girls they call us the boys. Didi Yamabo, IK, myself, Tunde Yuba. We all wore this crazy hair, and we went doing everything together. And I remember a lot of them were smoking, and they could drink spirit and all that. But you see, as crazy as I was, because that's why even myself, I think I'm a contradiction. For all my madness, I neither smoked nor drank. What I do, when they carried their spirit and all that, I had on my rucksack on my back a treetop, orange squash, and a bottle of water. When they're drinking their spirit, I'm mixing my water and orange squash, and I'm drinking, and I used to call it yellow water. But the greatest thing that by the time we were graduating, all of us were taking yellow water, not the spirit. So I think also that in spite of what I always describe as my crazy attitude, there was something inside me that was propelling me to the right direction. Because I would leave, I could go to parties, even in secondary school, go to parties, exam is coming. When I'm going, in my big pocket, I will put a notebook or a textbook. When I dance for 3 hours and I'm tired, I go back, I sit down on the floor at the back of the theater, and I will start reading. So I hold memory of those boys, and then some of the greatest teachers I have, like Bayo Duneye, the late Professor Adenuba, Dr. Nwafo Ejelima, who was a great teacher to me, and the big brother. There was quite a number of them, great people I met. And my fellow students, like Teju Karim, Zed Miraj, Jude Otte, Professor Imoga, all these have become professors. Professor Imoga, Professor Shego Jewi, who, as a youth corper, he used to hide 100 naira in an envelope and send to me by mail while I was in school. I mean, they were just fantastic memories. And Shego was one of those people that thought that this guy is not very, he thought I was not very much together, and was always guiding me, was always making sure, he thought I could do things, he thought I was brilliant, but he knew I was very restless. So he became my big brother when I was in school, was always guiding me. Even now, although we don't talk as often as we used to, he remains one of those people that I hold very dear as part of my memory from Ibadan.
Interesting. I know you affectionately address your wife as the adorable Adora. I know her name is Adora. Could you summarize your love story and what has sustained the union thus far?
Well, I always say in my writing that she is God's daily miracle in my life. That's the way to summarize the importance, her importance in my life. And that's one of those people and I tell my friends, and I'm not kidding, that I love her from the strands of her hair to the nails of her toe, physically. And then she has a personality that keeps me in check. Because I think that as strong and forceful as I think I am, she's a stronger personality. And I'll give you an example. She was from primary 1 to primary 6 in primary school. She was a prefect. Secondary school from 1 to from 5, she was a prefect, and she was a senior prefect in her final year. In the University of Lagos, where she was not in politics, the whole school had to gather and campaign for her. She said she's not interested to be the chairman of the hall that was giving them problem. That's I think whether it's Moremi Hall, yeah. They had to go. In fact, you go to here like you hear Nkemism, new idealism, because her name is also Nkem. It was a mantra they developed. So that gives you an insight into the kind of person she was. But above all, she is an unbelievable Christian. When you say something, yeah. Now, when I met her, let me tell you this. You have to understand how we met. I was doing my youth service, and I wrote a script called Running Tears about teachers' relationship with their pupils in secondary school. And there was a story of a teacher that started befriending a pupil he was teaching, and then the school found out, and his appointment was terminated. And he eventually later got to marry the girl. So I raised the question that if God had decreed that a guy was going to marry a girl and they meet in secondary school, is it justifiable to treat the guy yeah. So that was the question. Now, when we did it in youth service, it was so good that Lagos State recommended it for a tour of schools in Lagos. So to now act it in Lagos, we had to audition pupils. Adora, my very adorable wife, happened to be one of those people in their final years. And so eventually she was picked to play the lead. But I'll tell you this, when I addressed them the first time, she stepped out of where she was, met me, asked me if she could shake me. I said yes. And I shook my hand, she shook me, and she said, "You are an orator." Before God the man, when she said it, this voice said, "This guy could actually be your wife." With benefit of hindsight. But what rubbish. A girl that was just in Form 5, a dude that had left university the way I felt at that time. You tell me I would marry a girl that's still in secondary school. Of course I waived it. But when we started touring, one day the lead character didn't come, and I had to play the role. So she played my girlfriend that eventually married. When I was terminated and we later met, and I hugged her in that play, everything about my spirit moved. And I thought I had a relationship with her. So when later we met while she was in Unilag, we remained in touch. It was while she was in Unilag that we met. And by the time I met her, she was already a changed person, because her life was totally dedicated to God. I had to make up my mind to marry her. When I came to see her about 4 times and I didn't meet her, they kept telling me she went to Luth. So that day I came, I said I will wait and see what she goes to do in this Luth. And when she came, I was frowning. She told me what she went. I said, "What do you do?" He said, "You want to know?" I said, "Then come with me, let's go." When I got to Luth, I found out she goes to wash the clothes of a boy that was paralyzed from the hips, abandoned by his parents. She goes there to wash the clothes in the morning, goes back in the evening to pick them, to iron them and keep for the boy. And as the boy was attaining 4 years of age, she was raising money to put him in primary school. For me, I knew that God had sent me my wife. I wasn't going back.
Interesting. Interesting. Now, tell us about the kids. I know the union is blessed with 3 children. Tell us about them and their names.
Well, but you know, my life is always a bit private with my children.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, but there are 2 boys and a girl. My first son is Ziamike Zulu Okafor. He's abroad. He's final year now in the university. The second one is Kamal Zimuzo Zulu Okafor. She's in her final year in the university as well. And then overseas Zellinger Zulu Okafor. Yes, all of them have Z in their names. Overseas Zellinger Zulu Okafor. Yeah. He did his secondary school in England. He played football. So he left when he was about 9 to England. So he's just finishing his A level now. So they were trying to balance whether he has to continue his university program in England or America. So they're all growing up. They are becoming men and women. We're struggling. We're marching on, trying to make sure, struggling to pay the fees and to make sure we set an agenda for them to pursue. That's what we're doing.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. So what are your hobbies? Away from work, what are the things that keep you busy and engaged?
One is just spending time in hotel with my wife. I live a whole lot of my life in hotels. Going to university, from hotel to university and all that. So I love hotel life because I just eat and move my face. I don't care how they carry the plate. I walk out, I come back, my bed is made, everything is clean. I just love it. Some people around use my clothes and I say, this guy's crazy. Because me and my wife, okay, our house is big, we have a lot of space in my compound. You can actually park 20 cars. A whole lot of space. The house has a lot of space. But we carry our bag, we go to the, when I have little change, we carry our bag, we go to the hotel. They said, are you people okay? What are you going to do in the hotel? I said, you said you live in this house, there's a cook to cook for you. It's just 2 of you. You carry your bag, where are you going to? I said, I just want to stay in the place. I don't care how they do anything. I don't hear NEPA taking light. That's your business. I just have light in my house. I don't hear that there's no water. They have just all these lines. So I love it. That's my greatest hobby, just being in the hotel.
Is that not an expensive and wasteful kind of lifestyle?
Rich. No, we are not rich, so we don't do it often. I'm just saying that if I have little money,
those are the things you like.
Anytime I have little money, yes. Okay. My wife, she's in school now. She's not in Nigeria. I'll call her. Say, hey, sweetheart, how you doing? I said, if I have little money, I'm going to go to hotel. She knows I'm not going with anybody. She knows that that is me. She knows I'm not going with anybody. And I just go to hotel. I can get to Federal Palace. I'm just happy to sit by the swimming pool side, see inspiring people, see people I can talk to that inspire me. Go back to my room, just face up. Everywhere is cool. Everything is sparkling. The napkin I want to use is clean. The serviette, everything. I just love such peaceful life. Outside that, I like a rendezvous. I like rendezvous with my friends. Just eat. There's a place like even in Sule here, guest house. You'll never find me there if I'm not working. We just buy anything, make noise, watch football, make noise, and then of course, I love to read and write. I'm looking forward to writing a book soon because I've only made contributions everywhere. I think it's time for me to also.
It's time to write. Interesting. I'm going to bring this session to a close on that note. Mr. Zik Zulu Okafor, thank you so much for your time, for your thoughts, and everything. And all the wonderful people who made our time to join us this evening, thank you very, very much. Thank you. I'm very, very grateful. Extremely and exceedingly grateful. Thank you very much. I look forward to us doing this some other time.